everyone, it is Nancy Taylor here with another teaching video, and this video is long overdue. It is the do's and the don'ts of teaching intermediate to advanced students. There's a lot of content out there on how to teach the beginner student because it's very this way. You can say this, you do this. It's very easy to teach it because it's not as subjective as the intermediate advanced. With intermediate advanced, they know a good amount. So the tips here are from my experience. I teach majority of level 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the Vipkid platform. That's just where my forte is. That's where I thrive. They get my sarcasm. We have great conversations. I get to share pictures of Ava. They always ask, how's Ava? Let me show you. Yesterday, this is what we did. And they love to share with me. You went shopping today? Can I see your shoes? Oh, they're Skechers? Wow! Can you make a wow? Cool! I have 5 do's and don'ts, and then I have 5 bonus for your mock class, or maybe you're helping teachers on their mock classes. These are 5 things that I see. I did some mock classes this morning and I was taking notes. Yep. Let's share these with everyone so you can do well in your mock class. Number 1, do. Build a connection with your student. So on slide 1, I start with an intro. Hello, my name is Teacher Nancy. What is your name? Wow, what did you do today? You did? Did you have homework? Yes? Oh, more homework? Did you have PE? No? Music? Haha, awesome. What do you like to do? Now, that's a basic intro, someone I haven't seen before. If it's a student I've seen before, our conversation carries over from yesterday. So it's not a get to know you, it's like deep, like, how's your brother? We have to make sure that that connection doesn't take 5 minutes in the intro because those connections happen throughout the lesson. I ask the student questions that apply to them throughout the lesson, and we'll get to that one here in a moment. Number 1, don't just start the class. Don't be so consumed with the mass amount of words. There's so many words. Yeah, don't let that get you in a tizzy, like I gotta get going, because the student will be like, it was just more school. They like to talk about themselves, who doesn't? They like to make connections to things they did. They love sharing. They love learning about you. I remember teachers that would share stories. I remember those stories. I don't remember what they were teaching about the math class, but I sure remember those stories. Could you apply those stories to the lesson? You better bet so. You better think, you better do that. You better, Number 2, create a conversation. So as I'm going through the slides, maybe I circle the picture. What do you see? That is a jungle. Why is there a picture of a jungle? Notice how I'm asking these questions. I'm guiding us into the content. I'm creating a conversation. Why do you think that? Asking questions, and hopefully in return, the student will ask questions as well, and they do. They'll say, what does this word mean? Or why does it say this? And like clarification questions, I'm so happy to answer. Conversation. Number 2, don't be so worried about, I have to teach these objectives, I have to get through these slides this quickly, that you don't allow conversation to happen. Your overall objective is to have that student speak, and if they're speaking English, yes, you are doing a great job. They're speaking English with a native English speaker who's helping them with grammar, who's connecting the conversation to the content they're learning. I'm not just so overwhelmed with, I have to teach these objectives, that the student will just get a scurry of too much information. You teach it well by having it catered to the student. Number 3, you're asking extension questions, and these extension questions are applicable to the student. So if I have a slide that's on pollution, like in Mock 2, and I say, have you picked up garbage at school? No? What about at lunch? Yes, you throw away your trash? Do you see it on the floor? Yes. What could you do? That is an extension question. I've applied the content to the student, I've created conversation, and we're having fun. Number 3, don't just read the passage and then answer the questions at the end. I see this all the time. Can you read? Can you read? What happened to Jenny? And I'm on the other end like dying. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm so bored. I'm gonna die. They better ask me if I've cleaned up the garbage at school. Just kidding. That probably wouldn't do the trick. But for your students it will. Number 4, interactive lessons. We talk about being interactive like I have chapstick and my hair's sticking to it. Duh, that I do. With the younger kids, it's interactive with high fives, fist bumps. How are you interactive with your older students without making them feel like, great job, really babyish, okay? This is what you do. If there's an activity on there, a couple of times I've seen a volleyball game and I say a word, the student says a word. I say a word, the student says a word. So I will say, the word, your turn. They'll say the word and I'm like, set the ball. Yeah. Today, bump it. Good job. So if it's already built into the PowerPoint, go for it. I still high five, I still fist bump. I do a lot of hold my prop close to the screen, take it far away. I am not flat, which is number 4, don't. Don't be flat Stanley. Don't be this. No movement, I don't move close, I don't move far, I don't stand up. Oh, we stand up, we do some dance moves. Sometimes my students don't like to dance, which is fine. They don't have to dance. They don't have to sing to have fun. No way. Number 5, do have competitions with your students. They love to race the teacher or against themselves. My little phone has a timer on it. And it times my students when they're doing reading, when they're doing activities. Say you have a student you see all the time and they love to get on a tangent or off track. I have these students, yes. I'll say, I'm going to time you while you read this. Let's see if you can do it in 30 seconds. I'll read the next slide. I'll time them. Okay, I'm going to time myself and I'll time myself. Of course, I ask questions about the content that they read and also what I read to check for comprehension. But that can keep the pace going and keep it competitive. If there's a word search, okay, I found the first word. Who's going to find the next one? Ah, you found it. Okay, I got this one. Number 5, do not be tired and boring. You have 25 minutes with that student and I know sometimes I have to fake it. There are some mornings I wake up and I am so tired. Maybe I went to bed too late. Maybe I had to wake up in the middle of the night with my toddler. Whatever it is, I've had to fake it before. And I have had feedback say the teacher was yawning. No, my biggest fear is to have a yawn comment. And when that happened, I knew I had to step it up. I knew I cannot yawn in class. I have to make sure this student is getting the best class that they can. And of course I'm human, I yawn sometimes. I know how to cover it up. Good job. I learned that trick, just FYI. These are bonus tips, 5 tips to do, and this can help you with your mock class, hopefully. If not, hopefully it just helps in general. The first 3 things, when you're teaching intermediate to advanced, do not forget these 3 strategies that are ESL strategies across the boards. If I were teaching an adult, I would use these. They are not only for beginner. Number 1, pictures. There are pictures on the screen. There are visuals. I circle the visual. I say, what do you see? Notice I'm using the screen. I use my red marker to mark brackets where I want them to read. I'm always drawing arrows. I'm always directing their attention to pictures or visuals, words, circling words. You need to make sure you connect to a visual. Number 2, you're kinesthetic learners. So I have visual learners, kinesthetic learners. I am still using TPR. You'll notice in this entire video, I was using TPR. Because they're more gestures, it's not a lot of I say, you repeat. How are you? No, it's more of just gestures as I'm talking, as I'm going. And the big thing is I need the student to do it as well. So if I'm teaching harm. If you harm someone, you could hurt them. Can you show me harm? Ow. or ow. However you want to show it, as simple as you can, and in the amount of time that you need to really just get your point across. Have them do the actions too. Do not forget your TPR. And number 3, you need the student speaking. Audio. I'm speaking, you're speaking. If I have an advanced student, I still need to be aware of the 70-30. 70% of the output is from them, 30% from me. So I need to make sure, I know they're reading a lot of context, but if I'm over explaining and just like teachers like to do, like I do in all my videos, would you like it if I just did this? I can't even do it. Failed. Make sure that they are talking on every slide. And if they are chatters and that's not a problem, make sure that you are moving the pace either with a timer or by keeping them back on track, even if you have to do it on every slide. I know how it goes. Some of them are chatters. I know all about their lives. It's the best. Number 4 of the bonus tips is make sure you correct their grammar. A lot of times your intermediate and advanced students will drop the articles and the, or they'll misconjugate a verb when they're speaking. So I don't just say no and stop them there. I'll let them finish, and maybe they have a couple mistakes. So I pick to correct one, and it's usually directed towards the objectives. If it doesn't pertain to the objectives and we're just having a conversation, I may correct something if they're consistently doing it, but if it's just an error because they're talking more, I don't correct everything. So you need to find the fine balance. Find that balance, and I correct the objectives, I correct the content. When we're having conversation, if it's something they're commonly misusing, if they keep dropping the articles, if they keep conjugating their past tense verbs incorrectly, or they keep reading past tense verbs as walked, I see that all the time, I walked, then I will correct that. I will make sure that they do it correctly by I say it. Can you repeat? Good. That's how you say it. And I'll tell them. I'm getting sweaty. I need to lose a scar. Number 5, the final thing that I see a lot in the mock classes is those red vocabulary words are treated like any other word. But why are they in red? They're new words. They're new. That is their vocabulary. So you need to first circle it as the teacher, you say it, and then have them repeat. And then they can read it in context. They're going for pronunciation. You want to have them say it a couple times and then go over the definition after they've read it in context. So if it's country, I'll circle country. Good. Draw an arrow. Can you read? Good. A country is a nation with people, language. You get the idea. You go from there and you use TPR. Sometimes it's hard to come up with something for like government. I might have a picture of a White House. It's gone too. Ava. Have a picture of a White House, or maybe I'll do this, government, like a judicial ching ching. I have visuals to go with the word. Have them repeat or ask a question after you go over country. Say, what is a country? Check for understanding. See if they got what you just said. If you ask, did you get it? Okay, they will always say yes, and they always say okay. But is that the truth? No, it is not. And it's funny, my husband, when we lived in Arizona, he was teaching, they were students that came from China. It was so fun because he taught Chinese students, and then the year after I taught Chinese students. So I'd always ask him, okay, is this common in their culture? And it was so funny because he said, I'm teaching them how to fly an airplane and English. And so if I ask, did you understand that maneuver? And they always say okay, and then I say, okay, show me. We're in an airplane and we could die. Like, you don't ever do that. And I was like, that's so true. I'm so glad I'm not in an airplane. I'm so glad. I did not have to learn that way, because that would be scary. Scary. All right, that is all for my tips for the intermediate to advanced students. I really did try to make it short, but that's actually a weakness I have, is I can't make short videos. So I'm working on it. That will be my New Year's resolution. I'll try and make them 10 minutes or less. I'm working on it. Happy teaching and have a great time. Don't get so overwhelmed with all of the content because there's a lot to cover and hard grammar to cover and to teach that you don't enjoy class, or make it fun for the student. Make a connection, make it a conversation. We're out. See you later. Ava found these. She lost my glasses and I said, Ava, where are my glasses? And she comes in with these. Thanks, honey, but those actually won't work. But I love you. But where are my glasses? She lost them. And I wear them when I teach in the morning. Tell them hello.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi guys.
I'm smart.
I'm sorry.
S-A-R-T. Oh, sleeping. She's sleeping. Shh. Number 1, what not to do. Bring Ava to class. Don't do that. A connection.
It's right.
To get through. A conversation. Ava, you're always invited. Add in those extension questions. Does someone need my attention? I'm tired. Better luck next time.